You can create momentum, or you can continue momentum with Juno's ultimate, but you cannot turn momentum.
It's so interesting that like it costs the most and you're saying it's probably one of the lowest value.
Somebody being forced out of the fight is 99% as good as getting the kill on them. I have strong feelings on this that might be controversial, but we'll see.
All right, we're back here with Overwatch Hero School. Today's guest is LiamFox, who is a player on Team Supernova for Disconnected Esports. Welcome in, Liam. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us. We're here to learn all about Juno, which is a hero you're familiar with. I have very little experience with Juno, other than think she's pretty, and it's fun to put love hearts on the battlefield to piss people off. So I'm here to learn
That's
today,
true.
and hopefully you're here to share some like expert strategies, some mindset about using Juno, and any other tips and tricks that you think would be beneficial for people to rank up, to learn, to just be better Overwatch players. So thank you so much for joining us. And you've put some slides together, I believe. That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
He's being our teacher
Yeah, I
today.
Yep. Slides and
So,
all.
but please, if you're watching this, stick some questions in the comments below, and also tell us what other hero you might want to hear from an expert about. Here, look, I'll bring up your slides here, and
Okay.
we'll see how we go. Good.
Okay. Let's get started. So, why play Juno? Why would you want to play Juno? There are 4 reasons, I think, you'd want to play Juno. You'd want to play Juno for her hyper ring, her self-mobility, her healing style, and her ultimate. So if you were looking at all the heroes you could select and why you would want to play Juno, these are probably the 4 key reasons you'd want to pick Juno. And we'll get into why.
Okay.
Thumbs up. Juno
I'm on
approves.
board already. Yes, please. This is what I'm interested in. So I invite people on to join us, and I consider them experts like you, Liam. You're an expert at Overwatch.
No.
So I want to hear, explain to us why we should believe you. Why should we listen to
I don't
you?
think you should, but I'll pretend.
Okay.
So why listen to me? I currently play in Faceit Master Division, which is like, for those who don't know, an Overwatch tournament that runs a few seasons a year. And I played in Overwatch Contenders, which is like the same thing, but different name. And I've been playing support for a long time. For how long is... I started playing PC Overwatch in 2018. What's that? 8 years? Nope, 7.
That's some time. That's
7 years.
That's a lot. Although obviously not all Juno. What have you been
No,
playing?
not all
Like,
7
what's your
years
sort
that
of
was
history
Juno.
with support? Like, are you just play all support things, or
I actually started out playing Lucio as my main. And then I transitioned over to like Ana and Baptiste and Zen. And then with Overwatch 2, obviously Kiriko and Juno. And I also really like Moira. Controversial, maybe.
Yeah.
But I really like Moira. But I played a lot of Juno since she's come out.
Okay, that's a lot of intense competitive background.
Yeah, so maybe I'm good.
Up.
Maybe I'm not.
Listen
Depends
up.
who you ask.
We'll see.
Oh yes, and here's my disclaimer. So if you suck, that's your fault. Okay.
So viewers, if you listen to all of this and still fail, it might be on you. You might need to think of some other things.
The first thing we can talk about with Juno are her perks.
Perks!
I think this is still up to date. So the minor perks. There's the Torpedoes one, or there's the Glide Bruise one. And then with the major one, there's the other Torpedoes perk, or there's the crit on shooting perk. And I think you should pick the torpedoes.
So that's a left click.
And we'll get into
click.
why. But I think we should get into the torpedoes because it is left click. Do they order them that way? Is it always the top one is the left and the?
I think it's
I think you're right. Yeah. We'll get into why, but I think it's always good to pick perks that have more uptime, but mostly. That's not always true. But I think these perks are going to be more useful more often. And they also help each other out, which is really good when heroes have two perks that kind of feed into each other. I like that.
Is there like situations where you would pick the other ones?
Never. Not for Juno.
And do you think that's like a personal playstyle thing, or that's like you just think that they're better perks, that everyone should pick those?
I think both. I think they're too strong to pick the other ones.
Right.
And I think using perks as a way to change your playstyle means that you should pick both of these. Like I said, because they both feed into each other, they make each other stronger. Whereas if you're picking the other two, you'll see from this, but I don't think critting enemies is worthwhile. And I don't think the extra jump on the glide is worthwhile either.
Yeah.
Because I think on their own, I think if you're positioning well enough, the glide as it is should be enough. Yeah. And I think if you're playing well enough, you don't need to be critting enemies.
Yeah.
But that's just my personal playstyle. I guess you could pick both and go really DPS-y, but I don't think Juno really is good enough at being DPS to fit into that.
Yeah, fair. And like these two, it's like locking on faster and getting them quicker is kind of like hand in hand, I guess, these perks. So makes sense.
Cool. So we can talk about her gun, Medi Blaster. We'll just get some numbers out. So her healing output, 72 in a burst. So that means you hit, so when all 12 shots come out, if all 12 hit, then it's 72 on the healing. Otherwise, it's less. And damage is higher than the healing. So if all 12 hit on an enemy, that would be 90 damage. And then there's the fall off, which is important for Juno, which is 25 meters. Yeah, because they just changed it. But I don't think they changed the other numbers, so I think it's still a minimum of 30% at 35 meters. So we'll see why this is important in a bit. But those are the numbers for you, if you're a numbers guy. So
oh my God.
Takeaways from the Medi Blaster is that I think it is important, firstly, to heal the tank. It's all situational. And it depends on who your other support is. But I think that for Juno gameplay, your first heal target should definitely be your tank, and then the other support, and then your DPS. But just as like a general rule of thumb, because every single situation is going to be different, but that's just my order of priority on Juno. But it depends. So yeah, go ahead.
It probably depends on who your healing partner is, right? Like what they're playing.
Exactly, yeah. So if you're playing, the most traditional Juno lineup would be Juno Brig. So your Brig should be able to keep herself a little bit more alive than your tank, obviously. As in your tank is probably taking some aggro, and your Brig should be in a position to be packing your DPS.
Yeah.
So, and this isn't to say that you wouldn't heal your DPS, but it's that you would switch your focus for a split second and then straight back to the tank. Okay. So yeah, just to be clear, it's not to say you wouldn't be looking at your DPS ever, but they just wouldn't be your priority. Okay, more numbers, fun. So torpedoes damage at 85, and the healing is also 85, but then an additional 50 over time. And then the lock-on the lock-on actually takes longer the further away the person is. So it's only half a second, but that is time. And it can reach up to 40 meters, which is pretty good. And important to note that healing torpedoes are not blocked by terrain. So if you see a person and you shoot it at them to heal them, and then they walk around a corner, it will go through the wall, which is very handy.
I have noticed that. But it doesn't happen to enemies, obviously, right? If they're behind
No, so only for the healing, not for the damage.
Interesting.
Which is fair enough. The cooldown is 10 seconds, but if you cancel it, it's only 2 seconds. However, letting it run out is not the same as canceling. So it's important to note that if you go to use it, and then you think, oh, actually, I'm not going to use it, you need to cancel it and not try and run it out to its length. So, for example, imagine you start using the torpedo, and then it's like, oh, I'm actually struggling to get value from my torpedo here. I'm going to try and like overextend and change my LOS on this fight or something to try and get value from my torpedoes. One, you're risking putting yourself out of position by doing that anyway, but two, if you're not guaranteed to get value there, so you might as well just cancel it.
Are you when you're pressing it, it's like, are you mainly looking to heal your team, or are you looking to do damage, or is it just like situational and balanced?
A bit of both. And I think when we talk about how the perks come into this in a bit, you kind of shift your mindset. I would say that it starts off with healing, though. I'd say the priority on them is healing, only because that's a little easier to do. And because Juno also has less health than she used to, at only 225, it's the safer bet. And I'm always a safer bet, play the statistically more likely outcome kind of person. To go for the healing as a priority.
Right.
But we'll get into changing. So, important takeaways from the torpedoes is that it's the extra 50 of the healing over time, and that it scales with distance, and that the healing torpedoes are not blocked by terrain. What that tells us is that we should start the torpedoes early in the fight, and we should start close and then move away. We talk about the range. And thirdly, fire them before we lose LOS on our teammates. So I'll give an example. Timing is key. Example. So we start the fight on a corner. Actually, do I have? There we go. Perfect.
Oh,
there it is.
We got a map. Yes.
Okay. So in this, the purple one is us. J for Juno. Okay. J and T look very similar. T is our team. And 1, 2, 3, 4 are our steps. And imagine this is King's Row.
Yep.
In case you're unfamiliar. If you're unfamiliar, why are you here?
You're at the choke down the bottom here. I see.
You know that the enemy is probably over here, and it depends where the enemy is. It's all circumstantial. But let's just think like a really basic fight on King's Row. So we start on the corner with our team. We wouldn't want to start on the corner if there was like a Junker Queen trying to swing the corner or whatever. But just for argument's sake, we're starting on the corner with our team.
Yep.
And we start the torpedo cooldown. Okay? Then we swing with our team, and it's locked onto our team. Because I forgot to mention this before. We remember that once it's locked on, if we lose LOS and then come back in, it's already locked onto them. So we swing with our team, and now we keep our distance by using our verticality to get up to where that number 3 is. And at 3 or 4, depending on context and whatever, we fire with LOS on our team and probably an enemy or 2. So that's kind of a really, really basic way of doing it.
That's like really interesting. Like I haven't thought about like actually using that, knowing that it could heal through walls and stuff. Just like, hey, I'm going to get you all before we go around the corner. And then so if you move out of the way, I can just left click and you'll still get the heal and you'll still get, while I travel to where I need to go. It's like, kind of great thinking to start off with. Just like catch them now before we engage. And then depending on how organized and coordinated the team is in actually engaging in fights at a particular time.
Yeah, there's a lot that goes into this, obviously. But it's just, in theory, that's what you'd want to do. However, let's talk about perks. The torpedo perks are too good. They're too good. So picking them means you can use torpedoes as a burst heal, rather than feeling like you have to use them at the start of a fight. And then, of course, 10 seconds on, you get to use them again. But who knows what's happened in that 10 seconds. You can definitely use the torpedoes as a burst heal once you have the perks. Because of the faster lock onto your teammates. And then the other one is that reduced cooldown when you lock onto enemies. So you can be having torpedoes every 5 seconds in the middle of a fight. If everybody's there. That's hard to do. But yeah, you can definitely be using the mid-fight to top somebody up. Because I feel like when you don't have the perks and you're healing somebody, with your gun, if you take that split second to do your torpedoes before you have the perks, the small period of time it takes to heal that person up, you will be healing less because you've gone to the torpedoes and killed time doing nothing. But once you have the perks, that changes, and like the break point is broken, and you can use your torpedoes as a burst heal. So that's what I mean by, I experienced a ton of times where you'll be healing them, you swap to the torpedoes because you think it's going to be better, but the person dies. And I'm like, oh, well, if I just kept using my normal gun healing them, they would have survived a bit longer and maybe it would have been different or something like that. So, like I say, it's a mindset shift when you get the perks. Cool.
Do you think that changes after getting both or after like the minor? Or
I guess just the first one. Just the first one, but the second one is an extra bonus, which, you should have the first one probably after like 2 or 3 minutes, depending on how your team's doing. I think. Okay. Hyper ring. So the ring lasts for 6 seconds. The speed itself lasts for 3 seconds, and it's a 50% buff to speed, and it affects all allies within 5 meters. So 2 things on that. A person doesn't need to walk through the middle of it to get the speed. And second of all, if it passes over a person, they get the speed as well. So when you're Juno and you imagine you're shooting the speed ring out, if you shoot it over a person, that will give it to them. So that's just a bit of a positioning thing where you need to, if you're trying to capture your team in it, as you're already moving, which it's quite difficult to put it on the ground as your team's already moving if you're shooting it over them. That would kind of fix that issue. Cool. There you go. There's your heart.
There it is. Get mad. I love that they put that heart in there. I just feel like it's so insulting if you're mad at the game.
It's egregious. It's egregious. It's massive, and it's bigger than the normal one, I think, visually. And it's just, it doesn't look the same. It's kind of confusing. Yeah.
Bravo, Overwatch.
Some tips I think for it are that you would use it for engaging when your team wants to move fast, which I know is obvious to say, but it's important to think about when those moments are. So a really basic thing would just be to pay attention to your team's and the enemy team's cooldowns. So imagine both teams have a Ramatra, and your Ramatra uses his form, and he's punching, and then the enemy team uses their Ramatra's form, and he's punching. That means your team gets their Ramatra form back first, which means as soon as the enemy team's Ramatra's form is finished, you then speed.
Right.
So it's your cooldowns being informed by other people's cooldowns. So stuff like that.
Yeah.
You'd have find opportunities.
It's kind of the
just
go
being
button
aware
that
of what's going on.
It's the go button that you give the team, right? A little bit.
Yeah. Glide boost lasts for 4 seconds. You get that initial dash, and then you're a bit faster while you're in the air. So some things that I think about glide boost and how you could use it is I always like to try and hold on to the second jump. So if you're already on a higher area, like you're on some high ground and you hit shift, you then have your additional jump, like you haven't already jumped, right?
Yep.
And that's what I was saying about there's the jump perk where you get the extra jump when you glide.
Yep.
But if you've already got good positioning, you don't need it.
Right.
So you're on high ground, you shift off, and you're holding that jump because you can just keep it in case you need it. So that's what I always try to do. It's also important to remember that you can use the glide boost to climb walls, basically. Anything that has any texture to its wall, you can kind of push yourself up against it and climb the wall along the side of it. I don't have any examples.
I'm trying to think.
Off the top of my
Juno climb tech.
But yeah, there's a bunch of them. But basically, just hit shift and throw yourself against a wall and see what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's always handy. And thirdly, I would always try and hold on to it for escaping. I would only use shift into a fight rather than out of a fight if there was already other things telling me that the fight was going well. So I don't think if you're playing Juno and you're approaching a fight and nothing's really happened, or a little bit's happened but not much, you shouldn't be using your shift at that moment in time.
Right.
Unless you're super confident that all the enemy are really far away and you can use it, then go ahead. But yeah, I think there needs to be other triggers for you to be aware that, okay, it's okay for me to go forward. There's something positive happening for your team and something negative happening for the enemy team.
Right. So we're talking about glide boost just after the season 17 mid-season patch, where glide boost has just been nerfed. And I know the community here, the Juno enjoyers, are quite upset about that change where you lose a bit of momentum when you change directions in glide boost. I'm wondering if there's any sort of like, obviously what you're talking about is escaping. It's just going to make escaping a little bit more difficult, or like to sort of dodge. Or I don't know if you have any thoughts on that change.
I think you just need to be more confident in your decision.
Right.
So I'm sure I say it on a slide later, but if you are a little split from your team and need that shift for that dodging and weaving, if you know where your team is, if you know where your Brig is, or you know where your Cassidy is, or you know where there's somebody is that you can go to and dodge a flanker, like if a Trace is trying to get on you, or a Sombra or a Genji, or some flanking DPS, you know where your teammate is, you just hit shift and go to them. Just be confident in your decision in doing that. You probably don't need to dodge and weave if you, I don't think it's such a big deal.
Interesting. There you go.
Just think be better.
Think better. Be better. Great. Oh, here we go.
All right, position.
Part of it.
Keep your distance. Most important thing on Juno, in my opinion, is managing your distance between everything. So we talked about the fall off damage, and we talked about the fall off on the healing, and we talked about the lock on time and the distance on the torpedoes, and we talked about how we use our glide to move. So it is most important that we set ourselves up in a position that we are not starting on the back foot. So it's important to put yourself in a place where you can heal your tank, you can get to somebody who can help you if somebody's trying to get on you, and you're not too close to the enemy front line as well. So, for example, if you want to be healing, like I said, you probably want to be healing your tank the most, depending on what your other support is. But you don't want to be so close that the enemy tank can reach you. And then you don't want to be so far away that the enemy tracer can get on you. You want the enemy getting on you to be them feeding, basically.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the enemy tracer is trying to get on you, and you've kind of baited her into coming onto you.
Yeah. Because
you still have your abilities, and she thinks she's better than you. She thinks she's the best player in the lobby, but she's wrong. You're probably the best player in the lobby. So.
Oh.
Say with me, Pog. Verticality.
There's a lot of dashes in there. What's happening? Verticality. Okay.
On Juno, high ground is your friend. It's so easy on Juno to get onto the high ground and to go back and forth on the high ground. And you can just play with that. If you're versing or somebody's trying to get on you that does not have as much mobility as you can dodge for quite a while, just going up and down and up and down. And use your glide boost effectively. Like I said, I told you I'd have this on a slide. Using it to get closer to an ally. And they're going in when you can see an advantage. I already said all this.
Yep.
But yeah, you don't want to just glide backwards. I guess that's a important note to make is if you're already at the back of the fight, like there's your tank and then maybe a DPS or something, and then you don't want to hit shift and then go backwards. You don't want to shift into nothing because what did that do?
Yeah.
Because any flanking DPS is hoping for a 1v1 with you.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't want to be in that situation.
Got it.
1v1s, like I said, you're probably not winning them. Is this against Pog or is this against old players? I don't know.
This is fine. Like honestly, I'm not someone who wins a lot of 1v1s even when I have a direct advantage. So I know if you're just trying to avoid 1v1s, that's probably like kind of a great mindset for me with a hero like this. Is like just don't.
Just don't. Because I think we talk about Juno's. We said Juno has 90 damage in those 12 shots.
Yeah.
But that's only if all those 12 shots hit, and then there is that fall off. So I don't think Juno's winning a 1v1 at a range with a range DPS. You're not going to beat an Ashe or a Widow. That's insane.
Yeah.
And then you're probably not winning if you take the 1v1 with most flanker DPS or all of them.
Okay.
So I think it's probably just best to try and avoid them and seek help when you know there's pressure on you. But it is good to clean up. So peppering in some damage on somebody who came onto you. So for example, the person comes onto you and maybe you shoot them a little while you're moving away.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're back with the person who's helping you. And then they're helping you. And then either that person stays in and they die and you're shooting them, bang, bang, or they leave. And somebody leaving, that's another thing. This is just like a mindset thing. Somebody being forced out of the fight is 99% as good as getting the kill on them.
Yeah, true. Because then what are they doing? They're not doing anything anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. Somebody AFK and small might as well be dead, and it's the same thing.
That's true.
So
waste
just
their time. That's good.
taking the opportunity and then changing your focus in that moment is important though.
Yeah.
So if you're getting pressured by a tracer who's flanking you and she has her cooldowns, but she gets her cooldowns back.
Mm-hmm.
At the point that you forced her out, you then need to choose and go do something else.
Yeah.
Mind the jump.
What jump?
Watch out. Jumping against hit scans.
Oh.
So her double jump.
Yeah. Okay.
Don't want to double jump in front of hit scans. That's really obvious, but easy mistake. People love jumping in Overwatch. People hit their spacebar way too much in Overwatch. You just be jumping.
I screamed at someone 2 days ago to stop jumping. I was playing Baptiste trying to shoot at their feet, and they were like jumping over everything that I had. Stop jumping. Annoying. Stop jumping, guys.
People just mindless jumping all the time, and it will get you killed. I bet it's even worse on Juno.
Because then you get more of a bit of a predictable sort of arc and stuff, right? And
then obviously on a double jump, it's just even easier. And it's making you higher. If you got a shield, no shield if you jump high. Monkey brain. Stay ground, shield. Jump high, no shield. As an example.
Great.
I don't know. All right. And her ultimate orbital ray. Very cool. I have strong feelings on this that might be controversial, but we'll see.
Okay.
So, the ultimate is 85 healing a second, which is good. It's good. And it's got the 30% damage dealt.
Mm-hmm.
And it lasts for 8 seconds, which is a nerf. And that's probably the sadder thing about the Juno community, which I don't think I'm a part of, to be clear. But that is pretty sad that it's only 8 seconds. Now, here is a graph.
We love a graph here.
Supports. This is how many points of ultimate charge they need to reach it. Now we'll
the hell?
notice that Juno's is the highest. Okay?
Wow.
Everybody pay attention to this. So this is important. Don't hold it. Don't hold your hope. You're going to get one a day, one every 24 hours. So I personally think that because it is a slow charging ultimate, you should not be scared to use it. And that's why there are other reasons. It does. So that's my first point on why you should not be scared to use it. Secondly, it doesn't burst heal people like Nano, like Transcendence. Even Lifeweaver's Tree does a better job of burst healing people than Juno's ultimate does. Okay? So, what that also means is that it is best to use her ult earlier on in the fight. Because if you are halfway through the fight and your team are half health, and the fight's going pretty even, your Juno ultimate is not going to turn the tide of the fight. Right. A Nano would, a Trance would, even a Tree, which is crazy to say. They just keep buffing Lifeweaver. Even a Tree would. But a Juno ultimate will not, in my opinion, turn the tide of a fight. It is good to use a Juno ult at the start of the fight or in the middle of a neutral fight. If it is truly neutral and then you use your Juno ult, you are creating momentum. You can create momentum or you can continue momentum with Juno's ultimate, but you cannot turn momentum, in my opinion. Have that at the end of every slide. It's also important, like Kiriko's ult, we want to try and catch the enemy with Juno's ult, or at least catch the LOS, so that we can be in the Juno ult while we're shooting them. That's you and your team.
Yeah.
And the enemy team do not want to be in the Juno ult because it's dangerous for them to be in there.
So essentially you're saying use it aggressively early. Don't hold on to it too long. And you're saying the value in it is more so like the damage boosting and just like the trickle of healing, I guess, right? I guess, I don't know. What am I saying?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, it's not that. It kind of, the reason it's hard for you to say that is because it's not that high value of an ultimate as compared to some other ultimates, right? It's not easy to get value from a Juno ult because it moves not very fast. Did I say how fast it moves?
I don't think you did.
Where are we? But it doesn't move very fast as well. So it's easy for an enemy team to disengage. It's not burst healing. The damage boost is 30%, and that's good, but it's not like incredible. So yeah, I don't think you're going to be doing a hero play with Juno ult often. Yeah, right. It's possible, but not often.
It's so interesting that like it costs the most, and you're saying it's probably one of the lowest value ultimates too.
Yeah, well, I think there's a really fine threshold with Juno's ultimate. Because when Juno first released her, the whole meta shaped around her ultimate, where you'd play a Malga and you'd play a Reaper and you'd play a Brig and you'd try and create this environment where when you hit Juno's ultimate and use it, everybody's getting maximum value from it, right? We're creating this space that they're all doing it. Question in chat. It was 10 seconds. Yeah. It was 10 seconds and now it's 8. And it used to move faster and now it moves slower. So I think out of all of Juno's abilities, her ultimate is probably the one that is the finest line in getting right. And so they've just undertuned it so that she's good to play in like most ranks and whatever, but you won't now often see Juno getting played the most. People play Juno, but she's not like hard meta or anything, which is probably good, but if you really like Juno, it's not the best. Okay, so what should we be doing with her ultimate? You need to follow it. It's your ultimate. Commit with it. It is difficult, and I think what I said earlier really feeds into that, is when you use your ultimate, if you're already using it a bit too late, and what happens is you try to follow your ultimate as it goes, but you were then pressured and you feel like you can't follow your ultimate and you need to back up. There are two answers to that. One is you did it too late and you messed up, and that's why you're being pressured even though you've used your ultimate. Or the second one is follow your ultimate and you'll be okay. Don't be scared. Follow it and you'll be okay. It could be one of those two situations. Because the enemies don't want to be in it.
No.
And it's a bit about team synergy, but if you have got your team using it properly, if they're not morons, then the enemy will be more scared to be in it. But if it's just you in it, which don't do that, but if it's just you in it, then what do they care? So, yeah.
There's an interesting comment there in chat. Could be a good disengage ultimate, aiming it backward as the enemy pushes in. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's a good play. It's hard. That's hard to do in ranked. If we just talk about ranked, but you could definitely, if you were in a more coordinated situation, you could coordinate to say the enemy. We're going to position here. The enemy team are going to engage us, and then we are going to use it backwards. You could do that. You could, but I think that's really hard to do in ranked. But you could do that.
I would agree.
For sure. I think out of all of the points, it's most important to have your team in it, and in ranked that's hard. So I think another point to using it earlier on is often in ranked, people will kind of get split as the fight goes on. So the earlier you use it, the more aware your team will probably be about where your ult is and where to use it.
And maybe a bit of comms. Let them know it's coming. Maybe.
You could talk.
Anyone's in voice chat.
You could talk. Yeah, you could.
Maybe.
The other big thing that I think about the ultimate is that you should be using your torpedoes in it. Because of the burst hit that they have, I think you having your torpedoes available and using them when you get to use your ultimate is important. It's a bit of a feat if you use it. The ultimate is just long enough that you'll probably have it, your cooldown of your torpedoes will be back.
Yeah.
And you'll get to use it while your ultimate's going on. But if the enemy team is smart and disengaging your ultimate, you've probably missed your opportunity to use your torpedoes in that time.
Yeah.
So best to have them at the start. Cool. All right. We can talk about comps. And where to pick Juno and when to not pick Juno, because I don't think Juno is good enough to pick her all the time every game. So, tanks that are good for her are Hazard, Malga, Orisa, Ram, Reinhardt, Zarya. All of these are ground tanks that benefit from the speed. That's pretty self-explanatory. On the opposite side, we could talk about Winston. We could talk about Doomfist, who Juno's going to have a hard time. We talked about managing your distance to your tank. She's going to have a hard time doing that. They're not really going to benefit from her speed that much, not as much as these guys. They're not going to want to be standing in an ultimate. They kind of want to be moving around. So there's a bunch of reasons why these tanks are going to be good for Juno, and some other tanks are not going to be as ideal for Juno.
Yep.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Good.
There was a question about Junker Queen.
Oh yeah, Junker Queen too. Yeah, there was definitely, especially when Juno first came out, there was definitely Junker Queen with Juno. I think the one downside, not a downside actually per se, I'd say Juno's neutral for Junker Queen. Reason being that Junker Queen has some good self-sustain, and she doesn't want to be standing in the middle of the fight for as long. If we talk about Hazard, Malga, Orisa, Ram, Reinhardt, and Zarya, we'll talk about all of those tanks. They can stand out in the middle of a fight longer than Junker Queen can. Kind of. Because Junker Queen will engage with the shout or shout out of the fight. She's using that on one of those points in time. She will swing her axe around a corner or once she's reached them. But she just doesn't have, in my opinion, Junker Queen doesn't have the staying power that these other tanks have.
Yeah.
And if you're going to be Juno and you're going to sit there and you're going to heal your tank as they're doing what they're doing, and you're basically helping win that frontline fight, I think these tanks outbeat Queen in a contextual vacuum, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because there's always going to be extra context. But that's why I didn't include Junker Queen. But you could. In fact, there was a whole, I didn't include Diva here, but there was a whole 2-week meta where there was a bug with D.Va's speed and Juno's speed ring, where they would break the speed limit. And D.Va, it was crazy. So think about this, Pog. Think about the Colosseo. You know the starter Colosseo where it's like that long hallway under the arches.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine, like, basically you could speed and D.Va could fly, and she would do the length of it. Like, it was ridiculous.
Great.
And you could definitely play Juno with D.Va if the D.Va is ending her flies in good positions and all of that. Like, it's all contextual.
Yeah.
But these are just, in my opinion, the ones that you are default going to get the most value with.
Mm-hmm.
And the supports. Now, I think the supports that she's going to pair well with, depending on the situation, are Brig, Ana, Bap, Kiri. We're not overlapping utility here, and we're not overlapping our focus here on what we can heal.
Right.
So if we're Juno Brig, Juno's going to heal tank primarily, and Brig's going to be helping the DPS primarily. And you can speed around your Brig. If you're Juno Ana, you can speed around your Ana, and you kind of figure out in the first minute or so, hopefully, what is your Ana doing? What is she healing? And then that can kind of inform what you're doing in healing. Same with BAP.
Yep.
And it also depends what kind of tank you have and how much of a frontline fight you want to take as well. So if you were on BAP, Juno, Sigma, for example, you could probably hold front for a long time.
Yeah.
But if you're on, like, I don't know, Mauga,
mm-hmm.
you can speed your Mauga in, but your Mauga might not be hitting the enemy tank. Who knows? You know, kind of also depends what your tank is trying to achieve. Is he trying to take a frontline fight, or is he trying to hit the enemy backline?
Yeah.
So, and then lastly, Kiriko. You don't need to speed around Kiriko. Hopefully, Kiriko is helping your DPS because Kiriko is really good at flanking, so she's going to be doing some flanking with the DPS while you're playing that more mid, helping the tank. So, importantly, we're not overlapping utility, and we're healing different people, we're having different focus.
I'm imagining, like, yes, talking about overlapping utility, pairing with someone like Lucio would probably suck with Juno.
Pairing with Lucio means you're often not getting enough heals.
Mm.
Although they buffed how much healing Lucio does.
Yeah.
Or you're trying to overlap the speed, which there's a speed cap in the game. So there's no point.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not stacking speed and you're not like...
Yeah. There's no point. And it's probably too hard to do in ranked as well, Lucio Juno, because you could do, okay, we're going to speed in, we're going to ring out, we're going to ring in, we're going to speed out with, like, you know, you could use all these different speeds at different points of time, but that's like a high level of communication that I don't think is going to be achieved.
Right.
So.
Good to know.
That's what I think.
Mm.
So examples, Ram, Freya, Tracer, Juno, Brig, speed around the tank, Brig's helping your flanker on Tracer. You can fly to your Freya for help, you can fly to your Brig for help. Orisa, Genji, Sojourn, Juno, Kiriko, that's an all-in, and you've got your flanking DPS to play with your Kiriko. Or that Sigma one that I talked about where you're going to play some distance and poke, but you're going to have enough healing that your Sigma can hold a corner really well, no matter what the enemy team swaps to.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Mm. So if we're playing broad tanks, like I said, we're spinning them into the fight. You know, if the fight is drawn out and you have better heals than the enemy team, you're going to benefit from that, basically. You know, when I talk about staying power, if our tank has good staying power and your supports are just raw putting out more numbers,
yep.
you're benefiting from the longer the fight goes.
Yep.
Otherwise, we might have a backline that's benefiting from the speed, like the Ana or the BAP.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I don't think Dive is really going to work with Juno if she's trying to keep up. If it's a more self-sufficient tank, then could be okay. But she's then going to be doing other things that just don't, like I said, I'm a person who I like to play for the default best option, and it's not the default best option for Juno.
Yeah.
Cool. What is Juno good against? Flying DPS. They're going to have a harder time hitting you than you are hitting them because of your torpedoes. Pretty simple.
Of course.
Pretty simple.
Yeah.
Ground tanks, you get away from them faster than they chase you. You, like I talked about, you jump up and down the high ground, stuff like that. Should be okay. And you're not really fighting the other supports as Juno usually, but I think, for example, Brig and Lucio are not going to get on Juno super well. Maybe Lucio, but yeah. Whereas if we talk about the hit scan supports on a BAP, for example, you could be in danger. So with your taking verticality, jumping, moving around, they could be able to see you, for example. So that's what I think about that.
Good against.
In summary.
Oh God, here we go.
Pick Juno when she's a good option. Don't have to pick her all the time. Heal your tank and your team. Maximize your torpedo usage. And use her movement good. What a good sentence. Don't get caught out with your pants down. You need your cooldowns. Don't get caught out with your pants down.
That's a good summary.
Thank you. Do you want to learn more? Well, you could. You could learn more from OBS Surgeon on YouTube. These are POVs of pro players.
Yeah, right.
So what they do is they, this person does the OBS for actual games, and then they have all the replay codes and do all these POVs. You can see a Juno one right there.
That's great.
And you can do it for any tank, for any role, any hero. Most games, they'll take at least one person's POV. So that's really cool. There's also the Overwatch Champions Series streams and VODs on Twitch and YouTube. And lastly, there's twitch.tv/pogstream.
Oh, me soon, when I just become a pro Juno player, right?
Yep. That's where you're going to learn more about Juno.
I will put these links in the description, so feel free to check those out. Probably less so my stream, but there's some great options there. I really like the idea of the pro player POVs. That's like something I've never really looked at too intensely.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's sort of like
I really think it's good.
Yeah.
I think it's also just good to understand when might be good to not play things as well. What to play things around and what to do. Because Overwatch is such a complex game and there are so many situations where you could choose to do. There's always multiple options of what to do. And there's never a 100% right answer. But there are well-informed answers, and this is where you'll see them.
Yeah.
I think I will word this poorly, but I was watching a coach describe why pro players are so much better than other people. And part of the description included that they are not thinking harder than you. They have just experienced so many more situations than you that their innate intuition leads them to a better answer to the problem.
Is that the
lot? Did you like me?
Did you like me? Of course. We might like hit up. Oh yeah, please. Like, here's Liam's links, guys. I'll also put those links in the description. Please, genuinely. Wait, where's your TikTok? That's
whatever.
The one I like the most.
LiamFox or W. They're all the same except for Twitch.
Okay, because genuinely I love your content. So do that. All right, so thank you very much, Liam, for sharing all you know about Juno. If you want to see some other Overwatch Hero Schools, we've got a couple already in our library. We've got one for Ana, and we've got one for Kiriko. Have a look. I've got them linked here. Stay tuned for the next one because it'll be Freya and Tracer with Giant Ninja in a few weeks' time.
Woo!
And
little Giant Ninja.
Giant Ninja. Thanks for joining us. Thanks, Liam. All right.
Yeah, thank you.